This is Richard Rusk. In my professional reading, I watch for articles that have projects with both cost and savings, and I found one. This one's about a solar project. I'm calling this a professional reading video. It comes out of my professional reading. This project is at the Yucaipa Calamasa School District in California. It was done by a performance contractor, Optera Energy Services, and I found this article in PV Magazine. Here's a little about me. I'm an energy engineer in project development. I'm looking for projects with cost and savings for a customer. I've been at this since 1990. I'm a licensed professional engineer. I'm here in my role as an independent writer. I'm active on Substack, X, and LinkedIn as Richard Rusk 007. I was looking for something that you would remember. My Substack page is at richardrusk.com, and here's my email address if you want to contact me. Here are 3 learning objectives, the purpose of this video. Number 1, I want you to get a feel for the cost and savings of one project that includes photovoltaics. The numbers are big. Number 2, I want you to see how to estimate savings, that's energy savings, using PV Watts. It's a free program from the Department of Energy. And number 3, I want you to pick up some jargon along the way. Okay, ready? Let's get started. I said this article was in my professional reading. So I was reading PV Magazine, the USA edition, under News and Applications and Installations, this section, Commercial and Industrial Photovoltaics. It's a good place for project engineers to be looking for new projects. This section is about projects at various stages of completion. So one that was complete caught my eye. The title is California School District Completes 3.5 Megawatt Solar and Energy Modernization Project. 12 sites, $48 million, 20 years. Written by Ryan Kennedy. Here's some information about Mr. Kennedy. Here's his photo. Here's a very short bio. He's on LinkedIn. There's his email address. The article, if you want to follow along, is at this URL. And the way I found it again was at PV Magazine, USA, News, Applications, Commercial, Industrial. Here's a photo from the article to give you a little idea of what kind of project we're talking about. These solar panels that are also shades for the parking are new as part of this project. One thing that's interesting is right across the street, somebody's got some solar panels on their house already. So here's some of the text from Mr. Kennedy. Let's see what information might be important to an energy engineer. I highlighted in yellow things that caught my eye. The name of the customer, the size, 3.5 megawatts. It's in 12 sites, and there's a guarantee of $48 million. I was looking for, is that annual? Is that summed up over all the years? Is a net present value? And it never gives any more details. Optera Energy Services is the performance contractor. The first cost is $33 million. One benefit that we can't put dollars on is shade. So we call that a soft benefit, but it's important. And it's LED retrofits across all 14 campuses, replacing aging heating and cooling units and irrigation controls. I asked Grok to draw me a picture of a dilapidated classroom with old lighting and old heating. So we've got rusty radiators. I doubt that's what they're using in California. This map shows the location of Yucaipa. From Los Angeles, if you go east, up this little valley, there it is. Here's something for an energy engineer to keep in mind when working in California. It has its own climate zones. They're dictated by geography more than latitude, and particularly along the coast, they're fairly small. You go inland and the climate changes. Here are more items that caught my eye from the text. It's a lease purchase agreement. Here's the name of the bank. They used Net Energy Metering 2.0, which is not available anymore and is a better deal than we can get now. It's a 20-year term of the program. Students are going to be involved using the data, and for the future, they might add battery energy storage. I found this picture of Yucaipa Elementary School. So with my energy engineer eye, it looks to me like with these flat surfaces that this is probably early 1950s construction. With this glass along the middle, my guess is they've reduced the area of glass for energy efficiency and that they need security more now than they used to. I had Grok draw me a picture of some battery energy storage system units. Here is the last line of the article. It has a link to go to the school district website where we can find more information. So let's go do that. Here's the first page of the school district's solar project explanation webpage. There's the URL. You can probably find it by searching on a few of these terms. So here's Optera's logo. Here's the school district's logo. We already know most of what this says. The board adopted it in early 2024 and it's across 12 sites. It happens to say 25 years down here. I suspect that's a typo, but if it's important, then we have a conflict and we need to figure out which it is, 20 or 25. Continuing on, we come to a table of savings. And I thought, wow, we usually don't see this level of detail in a little case study published on the web. What this table has is a list of the sites. It has dates, and there are 5 months for which we calculate a difference in the electricity bill. So there's a lot of things that go into an electricity bill, but we just have the totals here. So a difference in September, October, November, December, January. I've got this blown up on the next couple of pages so we can look in detail. Also, we've got an explanation of net energy metering 2.0 that's not available to us anymore. Here are the first 2 months blown up so you can see it a little better. So just with 3 schools, they achieved $22,000 in savings in 1 month, then $21,000 in savings. If we go look at these schools individually, we see the first one went down from $8,000 to $5,300. The next one's pretty flat, $9,900 to $9,700, and the last one actually went up from around $5,000 to $6,500, $5,000 to $6,500. Here's the last portion of the district's website. It's really just a summary of what's going on. They talk about future plans for Battery Energy Storage System, BESS. Since we can pronounce it, we do. We call it a BESS. It says that they're hoping to get a grant from a contractor. It doesn't say what program it is, but actually I suspect I do know what it is. There's 7.8 million kilowatt hours annually, it mentions. And then this is important to a lot of people. How many miles of gas-powered driving is taken off the road? That might be a way to picture the carbon dioxide benefit. I want to explore that issue of the savings going down as you go into the winter. I went over to PV Watts, which is a free calculator developed by the Department of Energy at the National Laboratory of the Rockies. It's free. It's at pvwatts.nlr.gov. I put in Calamasa, California as the location. It came up with the latitude and the longitude. Now we'll go on to the next page. Next is the system information. I left all of the inputs the same, the default inputs, but I changed our system size to 3,500 kW. Now something to note is I made an assumption that that was the DC system size, which is on the input side of the inverter. This is set already for a system loss of 14.08%. I suspect that is some kind of national average. So we would get 14.08% less out of the inverter on the AC side. And here are the results. First of all, PV Watts found about 6 million kilowatt hours per year savings, where our previous calculations from the developer said 8 million. So that's somewhere in the ballpark. We just use default. We don't know anything about the system itself. I want to point out the AC energy. Here's the total, about 6 million. If you look at the winter months, somewhere around the shortest day, January, February, it's about 400,000. In a couple months before that, November, December, 400,000. In the middle of the summer, closest to the longest day, June, July, August, are somewhere around 600,000. So about 400,000 and about 600,000. We don't get anywhere near the same amount of energy every month of the year. Let's wrap up. Let's look at the learning objectives that we set at the beginning. Number 1 was to see cost and savings of one project, including photovoltaics. The cost was $33 million, the savings $48 million over 20 years. It's going to take a while to earn your first cost back. And 8 million kilowatt hours per year savings, which means it frees up that much on the grid for other people to use. The second point was to see how to estimate savings using PV watts. I give you just a very quick introduction, but now you've seen what the screens look like and you know where it is. pvwatts.nlr.gov. We saw the input screen, the output screen, and we got about 6 million kilowatt hours per year just using their defaults. Number 3, learn some jargon. Performance contract. In this case, it was a lease purchase agreement, and the bank was named, and the performance contractor guarantees the $48 million. We saw California climate zones. I believe California is the only state that's taken it upon itself to write its own climate zones. Otherwise, there are national ones that come from a professional society. DC watts. Now we know there's DC watts on the input side that the panels put out direct current. The inverter turns it into alternating current. So there's DC watts and AC watts, and there's some loss in between. And BESS, BESS, the battery energy storage system. These are up and coming as a new thing. We're going to hear more and more about those. They're going to change the way the grid works, and they're going to change the way energy is purchased and used on the customer side of the meter. That's the end of my presentation. So where do we go from here? If you want to read more of my writings, come on over to my Substack page. I'm at richardrusk.com. Substack is a service that works on a subscription model like print magazines. It's completely reader-supported. There's no ads. You can sign up for free or paid subscriptions. Subscribers receive articles by email. If you want to contact me, look me up at richardrusk007, or here's my email address, richard@richardrusk.com. Thanks for watching.